intersection of scientific collaboration and international relations, offering a platform to address global challenges through shared knowledge and research initiatives. In ISESCO, we recognize the essential role of science in fostering global collaboration and understanding. And by holding this panel discussion, ISESCO aims to highlight how scientific collaboration exceeds boundaries, promotes peace, and addresses common global concerns. The discussion will explore the transformative potential of science as a diplomatic tool, fostering relationships among nations and driving collective solutions to contemporary global issues, climate change as an example, and shaping our world in unexpected ways. Throughout history, the fruits of scientific collaborations have overcome political divides, generating solutions that benefit humankind as a whole. From joint research initiatives to cross-border partnerships, science diplomacy has drove advancements in healthcare, environmental issues, space, technology, and improved lives worldwide. As we explore into our discussion, let us navigate the complexity of science diplomacy's outcomes, its successes, challenges, and hidden potential. Let us envision how this dynamic synergy between science and diplomacy can serve as a catalyst for a more interconnected, sustainable, and prosperous Islamic world. And I urge our esteemed panelists and all participants to engage, exchange insights, and inspire as a reveal the impact of science diplomacy. Thank you for being part of this important discussion. And without further ado, let's embark on this enlightening journey together. Thank you very much, and I wish you a fruitful discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Adil, and thank you for the ISESCO to highlight this very important topic for all our Islamic countries. And I will be so pleased to get the feedback and the insights from Dr. Akram, Dr. Amjad, and Dr. Talal. We have here a different representation from different Arab and Islamic countries. I think Dr. Akram from Iraq, and also he is based in Malaysia. Dr. Amjad, United Arab Emirates. Dr. Talal from Oman, and I am originally from Egypt. And, Dr. Adil from Libya and Morocco. So we have different countries and different perspectives to discuss and understand what is the value of diplomacy in science. Let's start with Dr. Akram. I know that you have a quick presentation to share with us your insights and to know more about what is science diplomacy.
Thank you very much, Engineer Dr. Muhammad Abdo, for moderating this session. And thank you for ISESCO for organizing this important session. And I'm very happy to be with you among the scholars and researchers, academicians. So I will start with the presentation, and I will raise some open questions to be discussed. I listened yesterday and in this conference to some very valuable presentations. So I adjusted my presentation a little bit to be in line with the theme of the conference, which is based on AI and IoT. So I need to thank the organizing committee and the conference organizers for inviting us. Okay, this slide shows us the population nowadays, more than 8 billions. The number of internet users are 5.1 billion users, so more than 64%. The number of phone users, mobile phone users, 68%. The social media is 59%. What does this tell us? That we are living in a digital era. Information and communication technology, ICT, is part of our daily life. The time we spend every day through internet globally is more than 6 hours. Here in UAE, my slide, please. So here in UAE, more than 7 hours. In Malaysia, I'm living in Malaysia, more than 8 hours. So this is tell us that we spend a lot of time every day for internet. So besides that, so internet is part of our daily life. So we like, we dislike, this is the reality. So what the people do, the first thing is finding information. We spend long time using internet every day, finding information, searching for information. Number two is communicating with the friends, with colleagues, with family. Okay, I am sure that you heard about Industrial Revolution. Consider that the first one started with the very basic technology, with the steam technology, followed by electronic and electrical devices, followed by computer-based, information-based, knowledge-based, and currently we are living in the fourth industrial revolution based on IoT, based on big data, based on AI. I will come back here. So what are the main components? The main components are AI, IoT, IoE, Internet of Everything. Besides many things, virtual reality, augmented reality, big data, cloud computing, quantum computing, and many other components. This slide shows us the digitizing of everything. Now, many sectors became almost fully digitized, like ICT, like media. But at the bottom, maybe we can see that the agriculture are yet to be fully digitized. But soon also we will find agriculture sector also fully digitized. What is AI? AI is a branch of computer science. We are trying to make the computer think like a human being, like how the human being thinks. So we try to make the computer think like us. It shows us the history of AI. Actually, AI is not new, but I will not go into details because the time is very limited. But we can see here, for example, nowadays we are ChatGPT, but actually the history is since 50s. So the question is, can AI reach to the level of wisdom? Definitely in the level of data and information, the AI can do a lot of things. Clustering, classification, analysis, data structure, searching, data trading, too many things. But can AI reach to the level of wisdom? This is the first question. So this slide shows us the number of devices are connected nowadays in the global internet connection. Now we have more than 50 billion devices, 50 billion smartphone, computer, servers, CCTV, camera, more than 50 billions, and expected to be more and more. So this is the history of IoT. I think some of the, we remember the launch of iPhone, we remember the launch of Amazon, and so on. Okay. Last time the technology was a medium of communication between people. I use the phone to communicate with Dr. Amjad. So the phone, the device, the technology is a medium of communication between people. After that became communication between people and machine, like this device. I use this device to communicate between me and computer. I run the aircon, I open the car. After that, between machine and machine, like a sensor. The sensor detects, the sensor run the device. So the technology is used to communicate between machine and machine, like automation. So the human being became part of the process, just a part, no more controlling, but just one element of the whole scenario. So who control the others? Does technology control us? Do we control technology? So this is the other open question of today. So by 2025, another 2 years from now, expected that the human being, that about 10% of our clothes will be connected to internet. So it will be part of IoT, including the glasses, maybe the smartwatch. So 10% of our wearable devices will be connected to internet. How to distinguish between human and things? So the technology is changing the world, changing our culture. So we should be ready. This is show us the top websites, the top 50 websites. Most of them are service provider, not product providers. Google, YouTube, Facebook, all providing services. Yahoo, and with the Instagram, Wikipedia. The value of the brands of some of them are more than 100 billion, 200 billions, 300 billions. This is the brand values of some of these companies, like Apple, like Google, like Amazon, like Microsoft, and so on. So where are we in this community, digital community? So do you think the gap between developed and developing countries will increase and decrease? This is another open question for today. How to minimize the gap? This is, I counted by myself, the services provided by Google. More than 271 different services provided by Google. Started by search engine. After that, many other, like Google Calendar, Google Drive, Google Map, Google Meet, many of them, and so many others are specialized application and services for programs and so on. So you can see that some of the big companies becoming bigger and bigger. So where is our identity here? So are we consumer or producer? How to be content providers? Because most of us are consumer. Browsing, watching the YouTube, TikTok, are we the one who produce the content? So we need to think how to be content provider, not only consumer. So there are many advantages, definitely, of AI, but at the same time, there are some issues. Definitely too many positive impacts, but we also need to think about negative impact in order to overcome. These are some of them: the unemployed, poor working conditions, pollutions, and, for example, ethical issues, security issues, job displacement, accountability, responsibility. Who is responsible for car without driver, self-driving cars? Who's responsible for the accident? The company, the victim. Who is responsible? The transparency, privacy, bias, fairness, and so on. So you can see, definitely AI will produce fair judgment based on the data, or maybe bias judgment also based on the data. So what about the data? If the data are biased, definitely the result of AI will be biased. So other issues, culture issues, globalization issues, computer and technology abuse, like phishing, like fake news, like spoofing, identity theft, information security issues, and assurance, confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, privacy, intellectual property right, plagiarism, copyright issues, and so on. So ethics in AI is very important. So the industrial revolution currently is being shaped by a small number of companies. The other population are observer. So as a Muslim, are we going to stay as an observer? So this is another question I raised for our Dr. Amjad and Dr. Kalam. Okay, what is the solution? Investment in humanization of technology. Education as a base need for a human being. We need to promote moral ethics in ICT. We need to use technology for job creation. Need more collaboration between technology specialists and others. We need to make technology more engaging, human-computer interaction. So we need to redirect our investment toward investment for the human needs, the disease, the education, rather than other aspects like welfare and other things which are doesn't need to be in the picture. Research needs reducing crime, low pollutions, help refugees, clean energy, and many others. These are where we need to redirect our research. Many others definitely depend on our area. You can list many other aspects that we need to focus on. So how to minimize the gap? We need to know what's going on. We need to learn, educating our students, awareness program, apply what we know, and then we start developing. We cannot jump, we cannot develop new technology without knowing what's going on. Okay, I started with Industrial Revolution. I mentioned how the Industrial Revolution started. Actually, Industrial Revolution 6 years ago was announced that we are living in fourth Industrial Revolution, considering the first Industrial Revolution started in the 18th century. But this announcement, there is something missing here. That they miss the contribution of many Muslim scholars in the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 centuries. Too many contributions by Muslims at that time, the golden era. So this one also needs to be reconsidered. So we cannot jump too many contribution. I try to search for the contribution in the technology, in ICT, because this is my area. I found a lot of contribution by Muslim scholars in this field. I will show you some examples. So how about Muslim contribution? What are the contributions of Muslim in the science and technology? For example, cryptographer, steganographer. This is the part of ICT. So it was started by Jabr bin Hayyan. Khwarizmi started the algorithm and algebra, Bani Musa and Ibn Qurra in statistics, and for example, Al-Razi in the ethics in science and technology, Al-Farabi in logics and math, and for example, Abu Wafa in mathematics, and many others in the visual system, in the GPS system, in the geography system, in the astronomy, in the too many technology actually was produced by scholars. So you can find a lot of contribution actually. So beside the contribution, actually the aim of the development also to help the community, to help the society, to share the knowledge, to transfer the knowledge to the next generation. So this is actually what I wanted to discuss today. Sorry for taking long time, and many other things we can
Thank you,
highlight.
Dr. Akram, for the presentation and for highlighting some important questions that we can discuss together about, are we producing technology or are we using only the technology? And we will come again for the main question of this panel discussion. If we are using technology or producing technology, how can diplomacy in science help us to achieve a lot of goals we are looking for? We as a Muslim world, we are many countries in the region. We have some contribution in science and some contribution in different aspects. But how can we convert this science contribution or being in the part of the scientific community globally, help in solving some challenging in diplomacy? I want to hear from Dr. Talal his perspective and his view about what is science diplomacy and how we can help our nations through science and diplomacy.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. And I think Dr. Akram has really emphasized a lot about information that we always lack over here. Now, as I wanted to start with just a small definition. When we talk about science diplomacy, many people kind of like mix between science diplomacy and diplomacy for science. When we talk about diplomacy for science, it is actually you're focusing on one issue where people make a contract or make an MOU on agriculture or on renewable energy. It's a specific issue that they talk, and that's diplomacy for science. Here we're chatting about science for diplomacy. Science for diplomacy is a wider range where politicians and countries get together, one or two or more countries, and they discuss and negotiate. That's creating harmony. That's what's called soft power. And this is what's happening around the world globally now, that many years back, small countries, developing countries were not involved. Now, because of the topic today, which is artificial intelligence, it's touching every country in the world. And top countries in Europe or in Asia or in America, in both Americas, they're also joining with young emerging countries because internet and AI is touching every person around the world, and it's all in their hands. Even remote villages and tribes in the middle of the village or in the middle of a desert, they have internet or they would have connection and they would be connected, so they know. And that's what makes globally this issue a very, very important issue to look into and find ways to harmonize and solve the problem by finding out like what are the best practices around the world. And that's how science diplomacy is very important, whether it is AI, whether it is education, whether it is engineering, culture, or humanities. Because I think one of the things that also needs to be emphasized later on, regulation, policies, so it doesn't come out of our hand. And that's where one of the areas that we have noticed is that there are a lot of scientists are a little bit scared of the AI and how it will actually goes, and there's no hands-on. So that is also one thing that is being discussed and being debated about.
Thank you, Dr. Talal. And we have a real example for diplomacy and also integrating science inside it with COP28. In United Arab Emirates now, there is COP28. There is many discussions about technology and green technology and how green technology can help solving the problem of climate change and reach the carbon, net zero carbon. Can I hear from you, Dr. Amjad, your definition for science diplomacy? And based on what is happening beside us in COP28, this is kind of science diplomacy. And there is a lot of diplomacy there, yes, but there is a role for science in this.
Thank you, for your introduction, and thanks to my colleagues also for giving us these insights. I also agree with what has been stated, but I would also start by looking at the extreme sides of science and diplomacy, so that we come into the middle area, which is like coming from like Islamic values background, what we prepare to be in the middle area. So if we look at how science influence diplomacy and how diplomacy influence science, we have witnessed like this morning one example of how like political attitude influence science in the ChatGPT bias, for example. We can also look at the other side, how science influence politics and for example, in the US election in 2016, how the data analytics example affected the results of the elections. However, like we believe that coming from Islamic background, that sole purpose of science is to improve the quality of life for people at the different aspects. So from this attitude, I think in COP28 that is taking place now in Dubai, there are a lot of discussions and coming from University of Dubai. We have also a lot of involvement with this conference, in particular talking about sustainability and green energy. So in our campus, we have zero net energy campus where we are using 100% energy from renewable energy from solar sources. So we really pay zero bill for the local power generation company, BIWA. So we have tried to show this as a case during the COP28 on how like local universities can contribute towards sustainable and clean energy. And we are also trying to advertise this culture into the local community. Another aspect I would emphasize here is that in Dubai, we are living in a very cosmopolitan and society. So where we have people from different backgrounds, and this gives us also the opportunity to collaborate with people from different cultures to bridge the gaps between different cultures, which is also like I would say a town that resembles the whole world.
In the presentation of Dr. Akram, you spoke about our old scientists who produced science and who developed a lot of technology using till today. Can you link between how at this time producing science and developing knowledge helps the Arab nation and the Muslim nation to enforce some politics in other countries and to be leading, not only in science, but also in the political situations at this time? It seems that when you are strong in science, you have also influence in politics and you have influence on other nations. Can you connect between this and how we can achieve part of this using science nowadays?
Thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad. Actually, there are three main components in science and technology. Three main components always need to be considered. Number one are the people, the users, human resources. Number two is the technology, the tools, software, hardware, how advanced. Number three is the regulation, the policy, the guideline, what Dr. Talal mentioned. Very important. Without having the three perfect components, the perfect technology, advanced technology, educated people, trained people, and well-established system with regulation, with policy, with guideline, we will have very leaks somewhere. So we need three of them. We need to consider three of them. So our Muslim scholars, if we look for the environment at that time, there was a lot of motivation, a lot of encouragement by the ruler toward the science and technology, for the authoring books, for the development. This is number one. Number two, the motivation, the goal of the development. What was the goal? Is it to protect the what many companies nowadays they do, the copyrights? Of course, we respect the copyright and so on, but the purpose actually of the development nowadays in many companies for money generation, but at that time for knowledge sharing, for helping the community, for helping the society. So this is another thing. That's why the moral and ethics are very important in the science and technology. Otherwise, the AI is a tool, so you can use it in the right direction or wrong direction. So that's why you need to have the base, not only hardware and software, but hardware. Hardware, also should be there. So our Muslim scholars were multidisciplinary. Now we are talking about multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary. Our Muslim scholars, they were religious scholars at the same time are mathematicians. So we can see the encyclopedia scholars at that time. So this is what we need nowadays. So we need to emphasize the environment that the Muslim scholars lead at that time.
Dr. Talal, from your perspective, that I have some experience doing many events, conferences all over the world and the region. When scientists meet together, we are discussing many topics, cooperating, work together in many aspects, and we don't look any time from which country, from which region you are there. Science open doors for collaboration. Science open doors for people to work together aside from any nationality or religion. So for our countries, for our region, how we can integrate diplomacy with science, and how this can help solve a lot of diplomatic problems between our countries. We have many challenges and problems between our Islamic countries and Arab countries and also other countries. Can science help to be a way that we can solve part of these problems?
It's happening already. In this gathering over here, in this beautiful gathering with everyone over here, we're discussing a very important topic, whether it is AI or renewable energy or education. What's important is that all of us realize that it's not the ingredient, it's the process. And you were right, Dr. Amjad, when you mentioned that there has to be a policy, there has to be a regulating body that looks into it. Many years back, when when people wanted to get married, for example, they created a system where there has to be a genetic testing, and you get the approval before the religious man signed it, so he knows. So there was a body that realized there was a burden because of, for example, genetic disorders, and they wanted to minimize it by genetic testing. Same thing with the AI and any future information or future ideas, is that a regulatory body should be there to regulate AI and how it's going to be used. Of course, diplomacy is always being used because we are trying to find what are the best practices around the world. And it was funny when I was reading a journal called the European Journal of Future Research. It says science diplomacy links two policy domains, foreign affairs and science policy. So whatever we are discussing over here, it's also a challenge in another country. And this gathering over here brought people from all over the world to discuss how we can harmonize and, first of all, agree that before we set our technology transfer offices or whatever we do, there has to be a regulatory body look into ethics, because now there's a huge fear on how AI is being used, because yes, there are some companies and scientists using AI, but at the end of that process, there's a community, and these communities are not very, let's say, aware of all of these challenges or these threats, and that's where they are worried about whatever investment they have, because they're afraid that that little amount of investment will disappear. Therefore, you want to make sure that that part of society is comfortable to be using a facility, to be using a technology. Yesterday, when we were sitting here, I think they asked one of the professors, what do you see the future in AI? And he said, I cannot know what the future is, because the technology is going so fast that we have to sit down today and discuss what happened yesterday, so we can minimize any issues that will happen tomorrow.
Thank you, Dr. Talal. And I think we have another input from Dr. Adel. Yes, Dr. Adel, we are hearing you.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, actually, I just want to add that the concept of science diplomacy it's not new. Actually, we have different types of diplomacy. We know that we have culture diplomacy, where we use the culture issues in order to foster cooperation among nations. We have civilization diplomacy, where we use common beliefs and common ethics to foster cooperation. And there are other types of diplomacy. And science diplomacy actually involves the use of scientific collaboration in this regard. So to foster partnership, to foster international relations, and to address global exchanges. So it leverages scientific expertise and research to build bridges between nations. In this regard, we can give the example of the COP28. Actually, it's some sort of scientific diplomacy where we use it, to fight climate change. And we can mention also the crisis of the pandemic of COVID-19, where we use it, it's science, science diplomacy, order to get some sort of cooperation to handle that pandemic. Also, we can see it in terms of artificial intelligence. Now everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, and at the same time, everybody's worried of the ethical issues, the negative impacts of artificial intelligence in our societies. In this regard, we start talking about use scientific diplomacy in order to tackle those ethical issues. We have different initiatives in UCSCO, different initiatives in our organization ICSCO. In this regard, even United Nations, they start talking about the ethics of artificial intelligence. So in general, it's the concept of using some sort of issue as an diplomacy to foster cooperation is not new, and science diplomacy actually is part of that, and it's becoming a very important issue because of the emerging technologies and its impact on our society. This is actually, I just want to add to that.
Thank you, Dr. Adel. I think also we have Dr. Muazzam with us in the meeting. Can you hear us, Dr. Muazzam? I know that you are.
Can I talk?
Yes, you can talk.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm traveling. That's why I couldn't join on time. But indeed, my point of view is that we should develop science diplomacy among the Muslim world and bring them together, specifically in the field of science and technology. There's a big problem in Muslim world that the competent people don't stay there, and they are looking for opportunity in the Western countries. And that created a huge problem in the Muslim world. So we need to address the issues of those scientists so they can stay here in their countries and work for the betterment of humanity and their own country as well. Regarding science diplomacy, I will recommend, when I was in US, there was a policy Scientists Without Border. And same mechanism should be developed in Muslim world as well. That they should invite and encourage scientific collaboration among universities, among research institutions, and even among individuals as well. So that will bring a very positive change in the Muslim world. And if they consider their problem means with a certain consideration, so we shouldn't look for the solution abroad or towards other country. We can develop our own indigenous solution for our own problems. It means the people have capability, but the system is not adopted accordingly to respond to their requirement to address those issues. So I will request that there should be complete and a kind of very enthusiastic type of collaborative approach to encourage scientists in Muslim world to start this collaboration with the support of OIC, with the support of ISSCO, and with the support of UAE bodies as well, to bring them on board and define those problems together, and then onward to work on their solution. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muazzam, for this highlighting. Actually, I discussed many times with Dr. Isa, the president of University of Dubai. I saw a lot of cooperation programs between Arab countries and Europe, Arab countries and America, Muslim countries and Europe, Muslim countries and America. But there is no cooperation programs between Arab countries, between Muslim countries. And this is
Yes,
to university.
you are very right.
I think,
Exactly.
do you have the intention to lead something like this in cooperation
Yes.
with ISISCO? ISISCO, I think, have a big role in this, but I think we need to encourage and accelerate the cooperation between our countries. Using science will accelerate other issues related to diplomacy, related to economy, related to social challenges. But I think science is the right way to start this collaboration.
Thank you very much. I believe you are to some extent right. So at University of Dubai, for example, we have a strong collaboration with the University of Louisville, where Dr. Majdi Bayuni came from. Sorry? Yeah. And we have also another program with the University of London, College of Law. We have also like this dual degree program in medical engineering with the University of Louisville. However, in terms of collaboration with I would say in the MENA region, it's more likely based on like individual efforts rather than I would say at institutional level. So I believe this is an area where we need to look into more and address this issue at a higher level and increase the level of collaboration. But there are definitely a lot of research collaboration, I would say, at the individual levels of different faculty members.
Dr. Farhan, if you would mind, I would like to comment here. Yes, your observation is true. And I would suggest, as a humble opinion, that, for example, ISISCO would take the responsibility and create some sort of a funding. Why do many Arab universities go abroad? Because there is some sort of funding and collaboration in scientific that they could benefit and learning from, for example, very advanced universities. But mainly it's research collaboration. And that's where the funding part comes. If, for example, international organizations such as ISISCO would create a fund, which is specifically only for Arab countries, that would create some sort of harmony between, for example, us and University of Dubai and other Muslim Arab countries, where we could compete and join and learn from each other. And that's where our knowledge increases. So some sort of, for example, things that would attract you, so you can be part of this movement to advance and have Arab universities collaborate with you.
I think we need to hear from ISISCO if they are interested to take the lead this direction. It is about accelerating the cooperation, putting some funding, some mechanisms to encourage this. This is what is already happening in Europe. They create a framework, they create some funding mechanism, and based on this, collaboration started, and they succeeded to do a lot of success in this direction. So I need to hear from Dr. Adil, and I think also Dr. Muazzam want to contribute with some feedback, but let's start with Dr. Adil.
Well, taking the lead, actually we are international organization, or you can call it a regional, inter-regional organization. We have 54 member states divided in 3 different regional areas: Africa, Arab region, and the Asian regions. And we believe that science Actually, we have the same initiatives. We have another program in culture diplomacy, and also for civilization diplomacy. And now we just started. We started last year actually a program in the science diplomacy, and we believe science diplomacy has way much things to give, in terms of scientific and technical and technology cooperation. Because Dr. Talal just mentioned scholarships, and UNESCO could take the lead. Actually, we have a scholarship program for intended for our member states, and it's not actually the fund cannot come from the UNESCO. Actually, what we do, we ask the generosity of other countries to give us a few scholarships that we give them to the other countries that in need of that. I will give you an example. University of Sultan Qaboos promised us 10 scholarships that will be given to African nations, and we thank them very much for that. Actually, we have other scholarships that will be given from University of Qadi Adam in Islamabad, intended for the countries with less resources, member of ISESCO. So we are working in that, and actually, and we need your help. Right now we are drafting a roadmap and a strategy to encourage soft diplomacy among our member states. To present the issue and tell them, look, this is a very interesting. This is what this is can present and offer to our population, and also how can we foster it? Foster it by the engagement of all our member states. So ICESCO it's already take the lead, by presenting the issue, by promoting it, and emphasizing that it's a very important for our nations to engage in scientific collaboration based on what we call it science diplomacy. Thank you.
This is very good news, Dr. Adel, and let me jump in and also help. And I will work with you and try to have a yearly meeting in this event to see the progress together and to work together before the coming year event to accelerate this initiative and encourage other Arab and Muslim universities to engage with this kind of programs and accelerate and encourage the exchange between each other, and also secure some regional fund to accelerate jointly research in different areas. Because we are running out of time, I'll take 1 minute.
If you don't mind, my brother Mohammed, I would like to add also in ICESCO we have what we call it ICESCO chairs, which is research programs, where we fund a chair for a university based on a topic. I will give you an example, and Dr. Mazam with us, we have a chair, in a specific topic sponsored by university, and he is the head of that chair. It is based on big data analytics and artificial intelligence. And I give you another example of that. We have another chair in university, hosted by University of Sultan Qaboos in Oman. It's about the early warning systems and how emerging technologies aid in that. So this is all this is actually it's science diplomacy, and we are already starting that, and we need the help of other countries. We need the help of your University of Dubai. They have huge potential in that. They can host one of our chairs. We're talking about. They can propose a few scholarships for our member states and member countries with limited resources, and that is what we asking from our member states, to be engaged in this program. Thank you.
May I add one thing?
Yes, Dr. Muazzam, you can.
Yeah, thank you so much. I will second Dr. Adel. We recently invited as a PhD scholar from Kazakhstan. And next year we will invite 2 more. So that is the kind of research support that we are providing to the member states. But I will request ICESCO to encourage this science diplomacy, also nominate an ambassador in every country. And there should be a roadmap and target defined for every year. And then we should follow up that how much they are achieved and how much it's not. It's not only the funding, we also need to identify the personnel who can work seriously to keep it a success story of the science diplomacy in the Muslim world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Azam. Yani, we will take 1 minute from each speaker, Dr. Akram, Dr. Amjad, Dr. Talal, because we already run out of time, but we need to hear from you for less than 1 minute, a summary for this.
Thank you very much. Dr. Muhammad, you are right. We are collaborating a lot with developed countries, which are very good. But at the same time, we need to think how to help poor countries. So if we have a policy that Dr. Talal started with a policy that the Minister of Education have a policy that, yes, go ahead with MOU with very developed countries, but at the same time, your responsibility to help 1 or 2 or 3 universities, poor universities, help them. So you should have MOU with them also. So if you think in the 2 directions, we will collaborate a lot. Thank you very much.
Yeah, one last example I would mention, I think 2021, Taliban took over in Afghanistan and they dismissed all the students from universities. So this was like big news. And then one of the businessmen here in United Arab Emirates, Mr. Khalaf Al Hattour, he was in like meeting with our university president and talking about this issue. So he offered to sponsor 100 female students. And he discussed with our university presidents to accommodate them at University of Dubai. So this started with just a discussion like this. And then less than 1 year later, and in this September, the University of Dubai hosted, I think so far around 70 female students from Afghanistan, fully sponsored by Mr. Khalaf
So
Al-Hattour.
starting discussion, open doors,
Exactly.
will help
Yes.
all of our nations to do
And
something.
this, of course, it changed the life of these female students, but it is also, from my own personal experience, it's also a rich addition to our universities. And like this, they make like a lot of addition to our universities, and it's a win-win situation for us as well. So I think these initiatives, we need more of this.
Dr. Talab, I'm trying to make it also short and concise. And I think these type of meetings are very important because the first 2 days bring out what are the technology, what are the issues, but then what's next? What's next is that, okay, let's maybe within these venues, we can sign MOUs, letter of intent, or some sort of a agreement between different countries because look at this, all these talents under one group. And this is what's important in this work, because you can realize that science diplomacy is shifting or kind of is pushing for innovation diplomacy. Innovation diplomacy is pushing with all of these beautiful information into economic diplomacy that would benefit the community at the end of it.
Thank you very much for all our speakers. Thank you for ICESCO to give us this opportunity and also for the IEEE. And this is exactly what we are inside IEEE Technology and Engineering Management Society looking for, to convert research innovation into real economic impact. And having this kind of panel discussions and meetings will help and encourage this kind of cooperation. We have another panel discussion after this directly with Board of Humanitarian Technology and the IEEE. They have a lot of programs, initiatives globally to benefit of humanity and to support humanity globally. So this is great opportunity to meet together and to take this meeting step forward. I hope next time, Dr. Adel, we will be able to sign many MOUs with different universities from Islamic countries to accelerate this kind of cooperation. Thank you very much.
Inshallah.
Looking forward to a successful cooperation, inshallah.
Thank you
Shukran.
very much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much for this wonderful discussion. Please stay on stage for a group photo. Our program is packed with valuable discussions. Up next is a panel discussion focusing on IEEE, HTTP, and partnership opportunities. We have a distinguished panel with Mr. Sampath Kumar, Nobel President 2023 IEEE ETA Kapanu and 2023 IEEE HTTP Partnership Chair. Mr. Lawanga, Global Chair IEEE HTTP. Ms. Marila, Senior Staff Director IEEE HTTP Corporate Activities.
So it's wonderful to be here. Again, the next 45 minutes, because we are mindful we have a lunch. So before the lunch, I think it's always a challenge to keep the audience engaged. We'll do our best. But you will hear some exciting updates from us today. You know, it's all about the portfolio of global programs, what is offered by IEEE HTB specifically. So with us, as the short introduction, we have Lavanga and we have Mariela. Each one of us is going to first introduce ourselves. And then we have 3 segments here. Lavanga will talk about the overall mission of STB, what is his vision, and so forth. Then I will specifically touch upon the opportunities for partnership. And Ms. Mariela will talk about the strategic vision and what are some of the areas that TIMS can also benefit by joining hands with STB. So with that brief note, what we will do is we'll go ahead and we'll start with the introduction part, but I will give the mantle to Lavanga.
Thank you, Sampath. I'll begin by really thanking the organizers, the GCAI IoT, for this wonderful opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Alwanga Herbert, and I'm the chair of the Humanitarian Technologies Board. I'm really honored to have with me Mr. Sampath and Mariela with me on the same panel.
They figure out the presentation. I can introduce myself as well. I'm Mariela Machado. I'm Senior Director, so staff lead for the Humanitarian Technologies activities at IEEE. My background is in actual telecommunication engineering and electrical engineering. I'm very excited to be here because the first part of my career, I did a lot of AI when it was just starting in neural networks. And then I transitioned into the telecommunications industry. And 10 years ago, I transitioned into this world of technology for good, or technology for sustainability. So I'm very excited to be here with all of you today. And yeah, I will pass it now to Sampath whenever he's ready for his quick intro.
Awesome. And I'm Sampath Raghavan, and I have many hats. I think one of the most passionate hats what I have is being part of the humanitarian board. I serve as the past chair, and I'm also the partnership chair. So that's about it. And we also have Dr. Mohammed Isad, I believe. He is also connected virtually. Dr. Mohammed, can you hear us?
Yes. Hi, Sampath. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
So he's the site chair.
Hello.
So
Hello.
Right now was maybe like we'll go around. And I mean, we have a presentation to show you all. There's a small technical glitch, but that's all engineers are all about, right? When there's an emerging problem, you give a solution. So what we will do is we'll start with kind of a panel discussion, and then as soon as the slide is up, we'll go through it. So we'll start with first, Lavanga, can you tell a little bit more about what is Humanitarian Technology Board, and what is its mission?
Yeah, I'll start by giving you all, taking us through a perspective of technology and humanity. Look at it in a way that a community is facing a particular challenge, and you as an engineer, how can you really make use of your engineering skill to come up with a solution for that social challenge? Basically, humanitarian technology focuses or looks at really deploying or applying technology for good. So at IEEE HTB, we definitely envision IEEE volunteers around the world carrying out and supporting those humanitarian technology activities in order to solve those social challenges that those communities are facing. And our mission is basically to support those volunteers in order for them to really implement those solutions to solve those particular challenges in a responsive and sustainable manner. So basically, that's what our vision and mission focuses on. So we basically focus on technology for good for society. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavanga. As you all heard, right? IEEE is all about advancing technology for the larger benefit of humanity. And we are in TIMS, one of the premium conference, the flagship conference of TIMS. So, each one of us come with our own portfolio of talent, expertise. I mean, I'm a globally renowned AI expert. Lavanga comes on the sustainable development field. Marila has done some great works on platform engineering and also on the sustainable innovation part, right? But what brings us all common together is basically, putting your skills for solving the larger universal challenges. That is why we also have COP28 here, right? So IEEE, through the fabric of the humanitarian technology board, it offers a portfolio of global programs to connect, inspire, engage members like you at the grassroots level. So you can apply your technical skills and leadership skills to serve the needs of the local community. Right? So I think we have fixed the technical issue. So we are back into action. So what we will do is, as the first 15 minutes, as I said, the briefing will primarily focus on the programs. Lavanga will talk about why it is important, and Mariela and myself will chime in as needed, and then we will talk about the partnership opportunities. So Lavanga, can you go ahead and talk about? We already did the overview of introduction of the speakers. So can you first talk about what is humanitarian technology, right? Can you tell why it is important?
Thank you, Sampath. All of us here come from communities. And I'm definitely sure that each of us has really seen or identified or previously seen a challenge within the communities that we come from. But as engineers, definitely, most of the work that we focus on as engineers is basically in line with technology. So as engineers, definitely, it is really vital to think through on how we can really apply technology to solve these community, the challenges within our vicinities or challenges within our societies. So it is, you can define humanitarian technology in a way that, or in a way of applying technology to solve these social challenges, social problems within our community. How do we really, how can we really apply these, the skills we have in engineering or technology to solve these technology? So it is imperative that we really define it in that way, applying technology for good, applying technology to solve these particular challenges.
Thank you, Lavanga.
So looking at it is as we really look at applying these technologies for good, it is imperative to really have all the stakeholders within the entire fraternity to really in order for them to have skills and technology skills in order to apply their to solve these particular challenges, as well as having these policy involving all the stakeholders, like for example engineers. But however, these engineers have to have those skills to apply their skills in solving those problems, as well as having collaborating with the policy makers in order for them to really support in structuring or putting together those policy frameworks, which will in turn empower these these engineers or stakeholders or technologists to really apply their engineering skills within the community. So if we don't involve these key stakeholders on board, it will be quite challenging or hard for us to apply our technology for the betterment of community. So it is imperative, in summary, it is imperative to have all stakeholders involved in order for us to be successful in moving forward as far as humanity and technology is concerned. So at HTB, we definitely put our emphasis, our work definitely focuses around the sustainable development goals. And as you might have noted in the previous presentation, the world is currently facing a number of challenges. These are some of the challenges, sustainable challenges that the world is currently facing. But as engineers, it is imperative that we really deploy technology. So at HTB, definitely, our work rotates around the sustainable development goals, and we definitely encourage our members definitely to really apply technology in really solving these global challenges. And definitely as engineers, we are all engineers here, it is imperative that we definitely use our engineering skills to really solve these global challenges in a sustainable manner. So our vision is basically IEEE volunteers around the world applying their skills in solving these humanitarian challenges at the local level. And mission is supporting these volunteers in a way that can enable them to really solve these humanitarian related challenges in a sustainable manner, as well as effectively really making them effectively solving them in a sustainable manner. And as HTB, definitely, we are the forefront of really working together with all humanitarian technology programs to provide opportunities for these volunteers in order to empower them to solve these problems using technology. So in our expanded role, these are the key activities or responsibilities that we have as HTB. One, supporting and providing the oversight role of all humanitarian technology initiatives across the entire IEEE in order to reduce risks and increase impact. These are the key programs that we are working closely with, the IEEE Smart Village, the engineering projects in community service, the REACH program, the Empower Beyond Lives, SITE. SITE is a very key program at HTB. SITE stands for the Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technologies. This brings together IEEE volunteers really to leverage technology in order to really solve the problems within their communities. In other words, a group of volunteers work together within their local communities, together with a community as well, to come up with solutions, which at the end of the day, these solutions solve challenges within those communities. Another key program is MOVE. So these are the big 6 that we are closely working within the entire humanitarian fraternity, the IEEE Smart Village. This brings together volunteers, passionate volunteers, engineers, to come up with those sustainable energy solutions that really look at solving those energy-related challenges within the community. EPICS program, just in brief, it brings together engineering students. These students collaborate closely with the communities as well as organizations so that together they come up with solutions. And in the long run, these engineers, these students are really attracted to opt in for technology and engineering careers. I've talked about SITE. MOVE is a key program within the entire fraternity. REACH. IEEE Foundation is a strategic key partner whereby it really coordinates all the philanthropic donations within the entire fraternity in order to support these key programs. And together, as humanitarian programs, we are able to leverage the strength of IEEE volunteers in order to increase our impact and advance the sustainable development goals I talked about earlier on. What is our impact so far? If you look at the slide, currently we have supported over 580 humanitarian projects, activities, events, and ever since we got started. We have so far awarded about $3.8 million in form of grants to these initiatives. It is important to note that many of our volunteers, our participants, are students or graduate members. You know, these graduate members and students are really passionate. They are energetic. They have that enthusiasm really to apply the skills that they have within their community. So as engineers, it is imperative that we really leverage on their strength and passion. So at HTB, definitely, we really empower this group of people so that they really contribute immensely within their community. And at the same time, these are the future engineers, the future leaders of IEEE. So it is important for us to empower them. Currently, we have about 50,000 site members. These are the members who are really implementing many of these initiatives, humanitarian-related initiatives within their communities. And it is important to note that we currently have about 280 site groups. So in this respect, I would also encourage each of us here to join site as members. Membership, as long as you are an IEEE member, membership, a site membership is definitely free. And you definitely be able as well to contribute towards the entire efforts that we are really pushing forward as HTB. So at this juncture, I would wish to really welcome Sampath, who will definitely talk about the current partnership and collaborative opportunities that we have at HTB. And we are really honored to really work closely with the GCA IoT in pushing forward the humanitarian technology efforts for the betterment of society and humanity as a whole. Sampath?
Thank you. Thank you, Lavanga. So I'm going to go and stand there to make the life easier for everyone. So the next 30 minutes or 20 minutes, me and Mariela, we are going to tag team. We will be talking about the partnership opportunities and strategic avenues. So thank you, Lavanga, for pointing it out. What are the low-hanging opportunities? How you can involve in some of this portfolio of programs, right? I mean, Lavanga spoke about SITE as a program. So if you're an IEEE member who has a passion to give it back, putting your skills for the larger good, SITE membership is free. You can join it. The benefits include, we have a global presence in more than 130 countries. So you get to interface with people who have a similar passion like you. Maybe you're working on energy poverty, or maybe you're using AI for social good. There are many, many avenues. Or maybe you are working on assistive technology. There's a lot more, right? So in addition to that, let's specifically talk about the partnership avenues, right? So why we are here today is basically, Lavanga touched upon the SDGs, right? These are the 17, the 17 SDG goals represent the 17 broader universal challenges, right? And this gives an amazing opportunity for engineers to innovate. How, right? Let's talk about some of the significant scale of this problem, right? Nearly 4 billion people in the world are yet to be connected to internet. About 1 billion people live below the poverty line. And about 30% of Earth's food is wasted, whereas about 1 billion people are malnutrition. So one end, you have, food, you are wasting food. The other end, you are actually having people who are malnutrition and they are hunger, right? So why this is happening? Because we lack technological solutions, right? And then about nearly 40% of Earth's, population, they have difficulty in accessing to clean water, right? So these challenges are universal and broader in nature. That is why STB offers you that avenue to work on this kind of problem, which is relevant not only to your local communities, but also to the larger community at large, right? So our mission is, think globally, but act locally. Right? We want to create a very active network of engineers who basically put their skills and solve problems so that we can drive sustainable development at the grassroots level. So now looking at this, right, the broader challenges require the best-in-class technology. That is what the partnership is all about, right? IEEE technical societies, the 39 technical societies represents, the breadth and width of expertise for a given, domain, right? You take, for example, like TIMS provides a lot of opportunity on product innovation. It talks about emerging technologies like AI and so forth, right? But then one end, you can be an academician who is actively pursuing research, or you can be someone like me who is from the industry, where you are developing product. But then we all have this common, global citizenship role, right? Where we wanted to see how best we could help in, right? That is where the IEEE technical societies provides you the two opportunity. One opportunity directly is to develop your skill set, based on your field of expertise. The second thing is the opportunity to leverage or apply your skill set for problem which matters to the real world. That is where I think where STB is coming in our partnership with our societies, right? So for the universal challenges, which I spoke earlier, we need a best-in-class technology, right? What are the recent advancements? I mean, earlier today, there was a panel on ChatGPT or not, right? So we are talking about generative AI, right? I mean, yeah, it's great, right? But then, how could we take that kind of a technology and use it for problem that matters to a common man, right? And how do you develop a scalable and affordable solution, right? So that kind of an intersection of technology, community, and policy is what been offered through the fabric of STB. Now, regarding our partnership model, we partner with most major key IEEE societies. So what we do is, we provide, 4 distinct opportunity of collaboration. One is, first, we want to show them the awareness, right? We want to make people to be aware, in addition to your technical expertise, how you could participate in this kind of a humanitarian engineering program. And we do that by offering workshops, dedicated panels, and so forth, what we are doing, like the one today, right? Second, we then wanted to, once you kind of make people to be aware of the programs, we want them to provide the educational opportunities to train them, how they could involve in this program. So today we offer courses in IEEE Learning Network, where if you are an IEEE member, you can take these courses free, which will teach you, how you could involve in these programs. But why it is important, right? So if you're a student in a classroom, you are going to only learn about your subject. But to work on a project involving the local community, you need to have a different set of skill set, like project management, stakeholder engagement, risk management. So this kind of skill set not only helps you to onboard to the industry, it also helps you to pursue your higher education, right? So this valuable real world opportunities are offered to the fabric of STB. Third, we provide project funding program up to $10,000. Okay. So many times when we partner with societies, the societies and STB come together, we kind of then make a specific project call fair, where we say that, can we find the best-in-class technology specific to the expertise of the society, and can we apply that, right, for these larger universal challenges, right? So here you can see some of our successful recent programs where we partnered with many leading IEEE societies. Let's take a quick glimpse at that, right? Antenna and Propagation Society, APS. It focuses primarily on antenna technologies, right? So here the idea was to encourage IEEE members to come back with best-in-class technology to address universal challenges. An example, how do you leverage recent advancements in Wi-Fi technology? How could you use it to connect the unconnected, right? That is an example there, right? And then if there is a disaster management area, how do you use the antenna or communication technology to provide effective disaster response, right? Second, EDS, again, right? Electron Devices Society, which primarily focuses on computing, chip and other aspects, right? So here, how do you basically come back with the solutions which can actually reduce the carbon footprint, right? So that's another example there, right? And then not only that, IEEE divides its 450,000 members into 10 regions, right? And we also partner with the regions, basically, right? So you can see that regional collaboration. So the point to you as a member here is that you can apply for the funding directly offered through the fabric of STB, the direct call for proposal, what we offer, also through the joint partnership programs, and also through the joint regional programs. So you have lot more opportunity to participate and get benefited, right? And here another signal processing society. So this year specifically, my friend Mariela will talk about the computer society collaboration shortly. She will talk about some examples there, where again, the idea there is to, provide a platform for engineers to come and devise solutions to connect the unconnected. And similarly, we have signal processing societies and so forth. So the bottom line, with TIMS, today we have this partnership. We came here, we funded this conference because we wanted to emphasize basically on the importance of social innovation. And how could we involve TIMS members like you, right, to contribute to this larger good, right? And again, as I said, we are Santa here. So if you have a brighter idea that you can work for a local community, do apply for the funds. It is a very, very amazing opportunity, not only to transform your idea to actionable solution, but also to get rewarded in terms of the impact you are making for the larger group. So just for you to be aware, HTB offers the oversight, what Lavanga pointed out, right? So when you apply for the funding to us, the funding is subjected to a two-stage screening, just like how your papers were reviewed by a multi-stage review process for this conference. So we look into the aspect of technology, we look into the aspect of the community development, how it is relevant to the local community. And once we know that, there is a match between the local community and your technological solution, basically your project will be approved. But then at that point, it is also evaluated by the IEEE risk Office of Risk Management and so forth, just to make sure if there are any additional risk we should be aware of, legal risk and so forth, right? And finally, what we do is we also provide a monitoring team to help you out, to empower you so that you are successful to drive your projects to completion. So this is how STB reduce the risk and maximize the impact, basically. Right? And our model, why we are doing this way? Because we don't want all the 39 societies to reinvent the wheel. We want to provide scalable, coherent, and repeatable process and tools, right? That means, if an engineer comes, whether he's from power energy sector or from computer engineering, the fabric of designing a humanitarian problem, the structure, we wanted to provide that, right? So STB will offer the process and also the best practices to drive these programs at the grassroots level. And that is where the technical society comes in. So as I said earlier, the technical societies brings in the technical expertise, the best-in-class technology, whereas the STB provides the best-in-class process to bring the social innovation. So when these two comes together, so there is a definitive match to address the larger SDGs goal. So again, there are 6 major programs. There are many other programs, but Smart Village focuses on energy poverty reduction. EPICS focuses on service learning. SITE, we have Dr. Mohammad Isadi. He will talk at the end about the SITE as a program. But again, it's a network of IEEE members throughout the globe working on sustainable innovation. Empower a Billion, again, focuses on providing energy-related solutions. MOVE is a disaster response program, and REACH and Foundation. So I think the most important thing here is that for all these programs, HTB offers the fabric in terms of coherent process, metrics, tools, and resources, so that IEEE as an organization, we can scale up and demonstrate the impact of the program. So with that, I would like to now call my good friend Mariela to talk about this ongoing, partnership with ComSoc. Where you will hear from her how it is important and also the strategy how we are moving forward.
Excellent. So this is just one example, a little more tangible of what Sampath and Luanga already mentioned. So this call for proposal we did this year with ComSoc, with the Communication Society. It was very successful, and it's basically to address the digital divide in the community. So why is ComSoc and other societies coming to us? As Sampath already mentioned, we're providing that framework and that, that tools and impact metrics and best practices. We understand this sector very well, not only, the staff, but all the volunteers that have been engaged with us, our chair, our past chair. We have this expertise in-house, and we want to leverage that. We have been around, and I think Luanga already mentioned this, since 2013. So we have been compiling all the experience of what sustainable development is. So again, Comstock is coming to us because we don't only need connectivity for everyone, but we also need, how are we gonna maintain the connectivity? Who's gonna do the updates of the hardware and software? Is the community owning the networks? If so, how are they gonna handle it? So all of these, layers that need to be integrated into this technology for good. And I think something that I wanna highlight again, have been highlighted by Luanga and Sampat also, is that technology for social impact is a little more complex than our usual engineering. Why? Because we don't have electricity. We might not have, a steady connectivity or a steady electricity. So we have more challenges than in our usual engineering. Also, in the reiteration of technology that we know as engineers is needed for all technologies, how are they reiterating if they don't have the technical capacity, these local communities? So these solutions need to be holistic. And this is where we come in. So I just wanted to highlight that before I went in. So this is how we supported Comstock in identifying internet connectivity for local communities. There were 6 projects that were accepted. There were many more that applied, but we selected 6 projects that fitted into those frameworks and best practices that we already highlighted. Who are those that can actually have an impact? And I will show you 2 examples in a second. So you see here the amount, and you see the spread in the world of what Luanga mentioned and Sampat, of that, global community that we have with site members and with volunteers, and that we're hoping you also, your students, your network also join in all these, global communities. So you have Kenya, Nigeria, Colombia, Ecuador, India, and Pakistan as the 6 selected projects. We're also happy to announce that we're holding another collaborative call next year with Comstock. So this is the first example that I want to highlight as, the holistic projects that that I just mentioned. Just with $5,000, we impacted 40 K-12 students and their families. This was basically an internet kiosk for student communities that was with solar energy. So it was a holistic community to provide internet connectivity for that local community, especially for the students. We also have with $11,000 as funding in Colombia. This is in the Pacific area in Huanchaco community. They were needing connectivity. They're one of the last parts of Colombia that are not connected to the internet. They were needing connectivity, especially with the tourism. So for ecotourism, and they created this very innovative project because the communities are so widespread that they are using TV white spaces technology for that local community. They're also doing workshops so that these community networks are actually maintained and owned by the community. So these are the layers that we're highlighting. It's very important that we keep in mind, and that HTV is here to support IEEE in keeping in mind as well. So it's a win-win partnership. So we saw, as Sampat really highlighted very clearly. We provide visibility for the initiatives for the societies. We have all the tools necessary to be sure that you have the visibility for your program and the impact in social, corporate social responsibility type of projects. And we're just, making these words here because technology for good, humanitarian technology, they're all connected. We also provide accountability and transparency. And we are a trusted point of contact, and we want to be sure that there's a one-time shop for all, if you're wanting to do good in your community at a local level, you have all the opportunities that you have. And Sampat and Luanga already highlighted the programs that we have underneath us, that we're supporting the big 6 programs like Smart Villages and Move and Sites. But we are also wanting to expand that to be sure that you can find all the opportunities that are there to make an impact in your local communities. So just to finalize, and for 2024 and beyond, we're really wanting to become a hub for technology for good at IEEE and beyond IEEE. For that, we have 4 pillars. The first one, advancing technology for good locally with funding opportunities that they already highlighted very clearly, and other opportunities of engagement. Second, awareness and unified communication. Again, having one platform where you can find all the opportunities to actually apply your technological skills to do good in the world. Third, best practices and frameworks. We have highlighted these words. Maybe you have seen, you have heard repeatedly best practices and frameworks. We want to be sure that if you're doing technology for good, it's actually, following structures, being ethical, following the good practices so it can actually have an impact. There's a big responsibility with the funding we're giving these volunteers, and we want to be sure they're having impact. And finally, partnerships and ecosystem development internally and externally, and this is why we're here, and we'll love to continue to partner. HTV alignment with IEEE, again, we want to inspire and retain engineers. We feel that this work is engineering with purpose, and we believe IEEE has a space for this. And secondly, again, best practices and frameworks. There's a lot of responsibility that we have, in making good use of this money, and we want to be there to become the hub of technology for good at IEEE. And we would love all of you to join. And with that, I will pass it to Blanca.
Thank you, Mariela. Thanks a lot for touching upon where we are headed towards and some of these collaborative examples, right? Now, I think, now, okay, so I think we touched upon a few important aspects here, right? Why we are here, what are the programs and what are the collaborative opportunities, right? Let's talk about what is in store for you, right? As an individual, right? So for you as an individual, you can enroll for site membership. It's free of cost. If you're an IEEE member today, you can log in to your account. You can add site membership. What is the benefit? Right? The benefit is that you will get access to all the resources what we spoke about, right? Basically, the newsletter, you will get the monthly newsletter to get to know about the latest happening in the 6 major programs. And not only that, you will get to know about our funding cycles, when our project call fares are coming out, what are the collaborative call fare proposals. You also are eligible to apply for the global awards, what it's offered to the fabric of programs like SITE, the Volunteer of the Year Award, and so forth. And also, you get to know about, if you're working on a thematic area, like for example, energy poverty, right? You get to see that, what kind of project is happening, how do we interface or connect with like-minded people in your city or in your chapter or in your section, So if you, and the beauty is that all this comes out for free, right? So add site membership if you are not a member yet. Second, if you are from IEEE TIMS chapter or you are from a university, think about starting a site group, right? So what you need today is that you need about 6 people to come together and then, petition the site committee led by Dr. Mohammed Esadi. He will talk briefly about site. And then that committee evaluates and then they give an approval. So what it means is that now you, say, for example, in Dubai, you create a site, Dubai site affinity group. Then what happens is that engineers and academicians, independent of your research background, you can register yourself if you're interested towards the local site. And that gives you an interface for you to network with the local community. And then you collectively develop solutions to address the needs of the community. So essentially, it provides you an ecosystem at the chapter level, at the grassroots level, or at the section level, And fourth, IEEE Learning Network. Earlier in the talk, I said out of the 50,000 members, what we have, about 65% are student members. So that talks about the increasing importance of students and young professionals sees in this program, right? So again, there are many courses we offer. I touched upon risk management, how to conduct best practices, budgeting, forecasting. These are skill set. Today we look in the industry when we hire a student who just graduated, right? So if you're a student or a young professional, it actually puts you into a much advantageous position because you are actually having the skill set what the industry is expecting from you. And then most important, we also have a IEEE site funds program with the foundation. So if some of you are having an annual, contribution plan, this is something you can consider because usually the funds, whatever we raise here are again invested on our projects basically. Okay, so we spoke from individual standpoint, what are the benefits, right? What is available to you, right? Don't forget the $10,000, projects program. But now let's look from organization standpoint, what it means to you, right? So essentially, the program from STB offers a complementary avenue to inspire, connect, and engage engineers at grassroots level, right? And it becomes very, very important for society like TIMS, right? Because not only you provide products and products and other services to deliver value for your members, but this complementary avenue will help you to inspire, retain your members, for you. So that's a win-win, which is what we saw from the examples provided by Mariella, right? And again, it's a two-way door. We want to see this to be a win-win, opportunity. So if there are interesting projects that your society is doing, as I said, we have members across all the 10 regions in 130 countries. We will love to promote the offerings from your society, right? And again, the goal here is, we are the arm of IEEE, which is goal is to make the IEEE a world leader in the sustainable development space, as Mariela pointed out, right? So we really want to, provide the tool, the resources to transform your passion and idea into actionable plan, which results in a larger impact for IEEE as an organization, right? So that's one thing we want to call out here. Now, we also have Professor Mohammed Izadi on the call. So maybe if he can talk a few words about site, that would be great. And then what we will do is we'll quickly go and take a few questions from the audience, because we wanted to be mindful that lunch is next. So once, there's a famous thing in India, once you are fed with knowledge, it is important fed your belly. So we'll be on time for it, So Professor Mohammed Izadi, do you want to share a few highlights about site actually? Maybe if you could talk about at a high level site as a program and how to form a site group, I think that will be great.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for having me in this panel. And if I can move quickly, I don't know if you can see the slides.
Yes, we can see.
Yeah. Okay. So I just quickly go through this slide deck. Once again, thank you again for having me in this panel. So you can see here actually the current members of the site HCB and the site steering committee members. So I think we have already seen some data related to the trend we have in terms of membership growth and new members formed so far. Okay. We can go through here. You can see here also the presence of different site groups around the world. We have presence in many countries and the 5 continents, as you can see also on the map in this slide. Well, I go quickly to this important section of the presentation that will explain how we can form the site group. Well, Sampath invited the Dubai and even the probably participants from other parts of the world within this conference to establish site group, and I think the process is quite simple. So it's a 5 steps process, as it's indicated in this slide. So we have already, I think, defined the requirements to set up the site group. So we need at least 6 IEEE members who come together, to learn about sustainable development, build relationships within their local communities, implement humanitarian technology and sustainable development group project that use technology to tackle key problems within the community. So we're talking about technology for good. We should also note that non-IEEE members are also eligible to be a part of the site group. So groups should be affiliated within an existing IEEE organizational unit, such as a section or student branch within any university or college. To start a new site group, you will need to submit a site group petition form. So before you submit a petition to start, we should check that you should make sure, that there is not an existing site group at your section level or student branch level. You have also to review a blank petition form ahead of time to begin considering your responses. This is important to make the process smooth. So the process to submit a site group is described here. So the first thing to do is you should think, this is the first step, familiarize yourself with the overall site program. You have a lot of information available through the HTB website and site website that can help you through this process. Think about a specific community with a need that could be addressed through a technological solution. So we have already seen several examples for providing internet to schools, solar energy, and so on and so forth. List your skills, capabilities, local connections, experience, and passion that you could apply to address the need identified. Consider how you could connect with leaders of community to learn more about the challenge and discuss working. Okay. And the next step is to build the site group. So, where will your site group be formed? So all site groups should be affiliated with the existing IEEE organizational units, as it was mentioned earlier, as a section or subsection. You have also student branch, and we have also the society chapters you can have within your a section like communication chapter or computer chapter, and so on and so forth. Form a team of interested individuals, at least 6 active IEEE members, as was explained earlier, to join the proposed group. All of the members should belong to the same organizational unit with which the group will be affiliated, such as section or student branch, and so on and so forth. Plan how you and your group members will work together to build each other's knowledge and capacities in the area of humanitarian technology and sustainable development. We recommend also to take free and interactive HTV or site courses, which are available on the IEEE Learning Network. This will give you some insight how you can move forward through this process. Step 3 is you should sign, the petition. You have to navigate to the HTV site online portal to complete and submit your petition. If you are a first-time applicant, you will need to create an account. This is straightforward. Then you navigate to the apply page and select the site group petition process. You should next collect the necessary signatures, especially from the members you have already for the proposed site group. You need also the approval of the organizational unit in this process. Then the step 4 is you should send or submit the application form. IEEE site will review your application. If there are questions or concerns, you will be contacted by site for more clarification. If your petition is accepted, you will join the many site groups around the globe, as it was mentioned earlier, that are partnering with the underserved communities and local organizations to leverage technology for sustainable development. Where there are few tips, I would say, that in some way summarize the best practices you should follow in this process. So before submitting your petition, check the items below to ensure the petition you have is submitted correctly. So the first one is the group should have at least 6 active members. So this is a very important requirement to check before submitting the application. At least one person in the group should have an IEEE membership grade of member or higher. For example, in site group that's affiliated to student brand, probably you can just have the student brand counselor as the IEEE member. The member and organizational unit approval document should include group members' signatures in addition to the signature of the section chair. This is also a requirement. Here again we give some interesting tips, characteristics of a strong petition. First one, a strong petition makes it clear that the petitioner has considered the problems that local people or communities might be facing. So as it was also explained earlier, site group targets to address local problems and challenges using technology and engineering. So sustainable solutions for the problem are identified. A team of people who will be interested to volunteer in those local communities. We need also to have a strong team to address the local challenge. Relevant partnerships from government organizations, NGOs, schools, hospitals, companies, and other institutions to support and complement the work of the site group. A training plan to build capacity of the group members for effective and sustainable involvement. A feasible action plan for the first year. And the desired impact of your activities. Again, so what is reasonable with regards to this question? Some tips for.
Yeah, Dr. Mohammed, maybe if we could summarize it. I mean, I think we are.
Oh, okay, that's a lot. Yeah. That's my last slide. Okay, so some tips for success. You be realistic with what is to accomplish in the time frame of 1 year. Concentrate on one, just 2 problems at a time. The solution should align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Responding that your group's work will align with the 17 SDGs will not make a petition more desirable. This is very important to keep in mind. Be cognizant of risk factors that could affect your group activities. Stay within IEEE core capabilities and the group members' areas of expertise. And you can, of course, seek additional partners to run all the capabilities available. And faculty advisors for student site groups should review the petition to ensure the petition is cohesive. This is very important. Okay, so thank you so much for your attention, and open if you have any questions. Thank you so much, Sampat.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed. Again, thanks a lot for joining from Morocco. So to summarize, right, you heard today from us about the STB, the offerings, the partnership opportunities, why societies should be collaborating with us, and how you could engage, right? So with that brief note, I know it's time for lunch, so we will take a few questions. And before that, on behalf of STB, Lavanga, myself, and Mariella, we would like to thank the TIMS leadership team, Dr. Ravi and the entire team, and also Dr. Mohammed, Abood, Ms. Sarah, the entire organizing team of the global conference on artificial intelligence and IoT for partnering with HTB and giving us this opportunity to interact with you. So we'll take a few questions, and of course we'll be around to talk and continue our conversation. So just to be mindful of the time, we will stop here and we'll take questions from you. Thank you.
Can I have a question, Sambat? It seems that there is a lot of alignment between what is done inside the site and the Humanitarian Technology Board. And also you said that there is some good funding to start. But I see that there is more potential, not only for funding. As you said, you have the experience, the process.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of other opportunities outside IEEE. Do you encourage multi-collaboration? So if there is a potential with ITU, big program, if we want to do a big impact, sometimes we need more hands and more partnership. It is easy to do a multi-site cooperation program, not only inside IEEE.
So I will quickly comment on that, right? Excellent question. I mean, see, as Mariella and myself, we pointed out, right? The idea is we want to create an ecosystem where we create innovators at grassroots level within IEEE and beyond IEEE through the fabric of partnership, right? So what we have done so far, you could look at our data in the last 2 years. We have established 50+ partnership with regions, with societies, and also with international organizations like UN agencies like UN DESA, and we have participated in several forums like UN STA forums, and now MOVE, the program has been brought underneath us, and again our trajectory, as Mariella showed earlier, right? We actually want to partner beyond IEEE, because if we want to become a world leader in the space, we want to join hands. For example, with the ITU, we had them like a year back. The ITU General Secretary actually attended the first Hack Summit, what was organized in 2020. And also this year, we already are talking to see what additional avenues we can do, right? So this is one end, right? How do we take the engineers and provide a forum to interact with the policymakers? The other dimension is with the industry, right? How do you promote product innovations? How you bring them together? That is also in the code actually. But you're absolutely right. This is a universal challenge. That is why the SDG is a goal taken at United Nations level. If that needs to be achieved, if that goals needs to be achieved, then holistically everyone has to come together, right? The policy makers, the engineers, the international organizations, and professional bodies, and whatnot. We are IEEE is basically having nearly 500,000 engineers, right? And we are the face of engineering, right? So it is very evident, that is the direction we are taking, right? And you will see some exciting updates on the partnership front, because we got our superpower Mariella joined us, so we are already working on some interesting collaboration for next year. So you will see a lot more avenues there. But again, in addition to what the offerings we showed you today, right? The within IEEE, right? That itself is a lot of scope for us, right? So in addition to that, yes, definitive answer is yes. We are looking with industrial collaborations, multi-stakeholder engagement, across them. Manila, do you want to add?
And just to add to that, we are, part of what we're going to be doing next year is actually gathering more insight and more data about our programs so that we get more, we get ready for big partnerships. So as Sampath mentioned, the partnerships have been an important part of HAC and now HTV, but we're really wanting to get even more ready to be sure that when we go outside, we have very strong offerings, which is, part of the idea of gathering all the programs under one umbrella and start figuring out what are our frameworks and our best practices so that we can export that to the world. Engineers have a big role to play here, as Luanga mentioned earlier with the SDGs. That's why we're also, we were in COP as well with the 28. We are scheduled to do events with ITU next year as well. But if you have any ideas, we're super open for collaborations externally as well. And we want to become that platform also, for sustainable development and technology for IEEE at large.
It all, my colleagues have really said it, Sampath Managera. Yeah, definitely, that's the direction that we are taking, collaboration across the board. And we definitely are sure that once we do that, we shall maximize our impact as HTB. Thank you. Other comment or question?
Awesome. Again, thank you again for this opportunity. And we are around here. If you have additional questions, feel free to come and talk to us. And thank you, Professor Esadi, for joining us as well, virtually covering the book. So thank you again for everyone.
Please stay on stage for a group photo. After all these insightful discussion, it's time for a well-deserved lunch break, recharge, network, and get ready for the afternoon sessions that will start at 2 p.m. The lunch break, it's at the hotel restaurant. 2 p.m.